You hear the name of Robert Greene and you probably think of one thing: power. For decades, he's been the guy who literally wrote the book on strategy, on influence, on seduction. A kind of modern Machiavelli for everyone from CEOs to rap legends. But what happens when the ultimate master of control loses control of everything? That's the story we're going to get into today. Now, that quote, that's not from one of his big books on grand strategy. It's a plea, and it came from a place of real personal catastrophe. It shows a side of Robert Greene that almost nobody ever sees. A vulnerability that, honestly, it changes how you look at his entire life's work. So yeah, that's the big question here, isn't it? It's this incredible story about the collision between these ruthless theories on power and the raw, messy reality of being human. But to really get the impact of his loss, first, you have to understand just how high he flew. Okay, so before things took a turn, there was the climb. And Greene's climb to the top was, it was meteoric. And it was all built on one single, really controversial idea. His first book, The 48 Laws of Power, has sold more than 2 million copies in the United States alone. But here's the crazy part. Decades after it first came out, the book is selling more copies now than it ever has. It's like his lessons on power are more relevant today than they've ever been. And look, this wasn't just some book you'd find in the business section. No way. It became a full-blown cultural phenomenon. It's like this dark Bible for ambitious people everywhere, getting quoted by hip-hop icons, broken down in corporate boardrooms, and you bet it's being studied by political leaders. Greene basically became the authority on the game of power. But the guy who became this master strategist, he didn't start anywhere near the top, not even close. His journey to understanding power actually started from this deep personal feeling of being completely powerless, just wandering through a really chaotic and aimless early life. Just look at this. Does this look like the resume of some grandmaster of strategy? Construction worker, detective agency, tour guide. By his late 30s, Greene was just desperate. He'd worked dozens of jobs that went nowhere. He felt like a total failure, so lost that he even had moments where he thought about ending it all. He was always on the outside, just looking in. But here's the thing. There was one thread tying all those crazy jobs together. Because he was on the outside, he became a professional people watcher. His total lack of status actually gave him the perfect seat to just observe the games people play, to see the masks they all wear to hide what they're really after. So then he's in Italy, right? Working yet another one of these random jobs. And suddenly, boom, it all just clicks into place. All those years of painful observation, of watching manipulative bosses and petty office politics, it all crystallized into one huge, powerful idea. And this was the huge breakthrough for him. Greene realized that, okay, technology changes, clothes change, but human nature, that doesn't change. The same raw, primal emotions, envy, ambition, insecurity, that were driving politics in a Renaissance court are driving politics in your office right now. The game is exactly the same. Now, this is really important because a lot of people get this wrong. When he talks about power, he's not talking about dominating other people. For him, true power is an internal thing. It's a feeling of self-control, of mastering your own emotions, of not feeling helpless when life throws stuff at you. And that's exactly why he thinks understanding this game is so, so vital. That feeling of being powerless, of having zero control, it's miserable. He argues that it makes people bitter, passive-aggressive. So learning the laws of power, in his view, is really a defensive move to save yourself from all that pain. So what Greene's work does, really, is it directly challenges the idealistic way we'd like to see the world. We love to think that we're rational, that appearances don't matter. But he's like, look, we're not descended from angels, we're descended from primates. Our brains are just wired to care about status and confidence and appearances. And to just ignore that, well, that's just being naive. But then Greene started to get a little worried. He saw all these young people reading his book and thinking that success was only about manipulation and social games. And he knew that's a recipe for a pretty hollow life. So he decided to write an antidote. So he wrote his next book, Mastery, to basically say, whoa, hold on a second. Playing political games might help you in the short term, sure, but real, lasting power, the kind that endures, that comes from being so good at something that people can't ignore you. It comes from building a real skill. And he laid out a super clear path.
So first, you have to discover your life's task, this deep personal connection to something. Then step 2, you enter an apprenticeship, where your only goal is to learn, not make money. And finally, after you put in thousands of hours, your brain literally rewires itself, and you get to this level of creative action and innovation. That, he says, is where real power lies.
So he'd laid it all out. Power is self-control, mastery is how you get there, and then in a single moment, a completely random act of nature came along and put every single one of his ideas to the ultimate test. The year is 2018, August. Robert Greene gets stung by a wasp. Just a wasp sting. But that sting caused a blood clot, which led to a massive stroke. Just like that, the man who wrote the book on control lost it all. And the fallout was just devastating. We're talking paralyzed on his left side. The physical things he loved, swimming, hiking, gone. Just typing an email became a huge struggle. This fiercely independent man, for the first time in his life, had to depend on other people for everything. But here's the twist. In that total devastation, he found something unexpected, a real gut-level understanding of what it truly feels like to be helpless. And that, right there, is the ultimate lesson. This is where it all comes together. The stroke taught him that true power isn't about outsmarting your rival. It's about resilience. It's about the quiet strength to just tie your shoes when it takes 10 agonizing minutes. It's the power to feel genuine gratitude for the simple ability to walk your dog down the street. In the end, his own life became the final, most profound law of power. And it forces all of us to ask ourselves a pretty uncomfortable question. What simple abilities, what little freedoms, what everyday powers are we just completely overlooking in our own lives right now? And will it take losing them for us to finally see them?